whispers in the dark to the voices that bridge the gap between worlds, this is where science meets the supernatural. Welcome to EVP Explorations with Todd Bates, the show dedicated to the mysteries of electronic voice phenomenon and spirit communication. Each week, we dive deep into the art and science of capturing spirit voices, uncovering the unknown through informative interviews, in-depth discussions, and hands-on techniques to teach you the craft of EVP recording. Join us live every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central, right here on the Sacred Spiral Network, where the voices of the past come to life and the journey into the beyond begins. Now here is your host, Todd Bates.
And a good evening, one and all. My goodness, welcome. EVP Explorations live right here on the Sacred Spiral Network. Wow, we've got an amazing show. I have been chomping. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this. Tony and Cherie Rathman, of course, SpiritCom 3.0. We're going to be talking about that tonight with you fine folks. Get your thinking caps on, get your notepads. We are all going to screw up and learn something tonight. This is going to be some real education here, folks, coming your way. And I know it's going to be pretty advanced for a lot of you folks here, but I promise you it's going to make sense. You're going to understand a lot of things. Just a few announcements here before we get started. Take a nice little break here and get started. Hey, it's my birthday show. I want to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for taking just a few moments today to wish me a happy birthday. It was so overwhelming. It was amazing to see all the wishes, and so many have come true. I can't thank you enough, you guys, for taking time to do that. It made my day real special. And it was a long day, but it was a fun day. And turning 52 is not so bad. I was telling Tony and Cherie earlier before the show, it's not so bad. It really isn't. It really isn't so bad. I got a long ways to go, a lot more things to accomplish. So life's just begun in some ways. But welcome to each and every one of you. Give some hellos out there. Hi to Sandy. Hey, John. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And thank you, Jason. There's so many things we're going to discuss tonight, and it's real important and to definitely take notes this evening. But first of all, I want to apologize for some audio issues here the past few shows. I've been switching. I do station work as well with Kelly Brickle and have to switch to a different drive. Well, I kept forgetting to flip on the main microphone. So I was talking into the computer microphone. So I do apologize for those audio issues and so forth in some past shows. We should be good to go. So if you guys ever catch me doing that again, call me out on that. It's a flip of a button there to get the right microphone on there. A lot of improvements coming up. I want you guys to take a few moments, if you can, to stop by the website right there, evpexplorations.com. It's brand new. It's been totally rebuilt from the prior one. A lot of great things on there for you, free EVP courses and so forth, paranormal courses that have been written for you. Everything there is free of charge, no charge whatsoever for you fine folks. And you can hop over there. You can register. You can register for free. You can do that as well. Now, some of you coming on here, tuning in, normally wanting to tune in to a few other destinations. We're having some issues with a couple Facebook destinations, so a lot of you can hop over to the YouTube channels. There's several of those going, Sacred Spiral, EVP Explorations. You can hop onto one of those and get on. I've been getting some little messages here saying people are having some trouble getting on those outlets. Hang tight, everything will settle in. I see Kelly's in here trying to fix some things in the background as well. So thank you, hon, very much. But there's a lot going on tonight. So be sure, grab your drink, get it refilled during this quick break. And if you can, come back. Definitely come back, because we have Tony and Cherie Rathman. We're going to be talking Staticom 3.0. We're going to be talking about what got them started. What got them so into electronic voice phenomenon, ITC? It's all coming up, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Brace yourself for the Paranormal Rockdown, July 18th and 19th, 2025 at the Haunted Broadhead Manor. Friday night rock out with Dead Amsterdam, Left on Red, and headliner Green Jelly. The music may not be the only thing shaking these walls. Rumor has it the spirits love a good beat. Will you meet one? Saturday, meet paranormal legends like Dave Schrader, Sam Baltrusis, and more. Enjoy thrilling workshops, tasty treats, and a live Zoom Q&A with Dustin Perry. Dive into the ultimate paranormal investigation with expert guides. Or join a spine-tingling seance with Sam Baltrusis. Tickets are limited. Get yours now for an unforgettable weekend of music, mystery, and chills.
Hey, 5 minutes past the hour. Welcome back, everybody. EVP Explorations. I'm your host, Todd Bates. Those of you folks just joining us, welcome aboard. Be sure to put any questions, comments, anything like that in the comments section. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or abroad, you can either watch on either one of the websites as well, evpexplorations.com or sacredspiralnetwork.com. Either one of those are broadcasting it as well. Tonight, we have got special guests. I mean, on a birthday show. Excuse me, I couldn't ask for a happier birthday today. Talking to these two, Tony and Cherie Rathman, we're going to be discussing Staticom 3.0. We're going to be discussing their development. But as founders of Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations, this husband and wife duo has spent over 15 years exploring the mysteries of the afterlife. Tony, a former skeptic, folks. Him and I have that in common. Turned leading ITC researcher, has developed groundbreaking methods like Staticom for spirit communication. Meanwhile, Cherie, with her roots in the Philippines, has been immersed in the paranormal since childhood. We're going to get into that as well, bringing a unique perspective to their investigations. Now, from haunted hospitals to cutting-edge spirit boxes, Tony and Cherie have captured some of the most compelling evidence of the supernatural. Now, they've been featured on major paranormal shows, documentaries, and, of course, their own long-running podcast, Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. So without further ado, Tony and Cherie, welcome to the show. It's great to have you two on here.
Hi, Dad. How are you?
Thank you. Pleasure to be here, Todd. We appreciate it.
Oh, this is awesome. This is just awesome. Having you two is a breath of fresh air to this community, to this audience. Absolutely. Because I've been telling them for weeks, guys, in weeks since your show started, that we have been looking for a breakthrough in such a long time. We haven't had one. Now we do. Now we can talk about it. And we're going to talk about that tonight as well. But first of all, let's get into what got you two started. I mean, the paranormal is it's a huge mainstream thing right now. But 15 years ago, not so much. What got you guys involved in all this?
And you're right. At first, he is very, very skeptic person.
I didn't believe any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And 15 years ago, the very first television shows started to come out. Cherie was fascinated with them. And she kept saying to me, come on, sit down. You're going to love this. And I'd last about 2 minutes. And I would say, this isn't real. This is for entertainment only. None of this is happening. And I'd walk away because my father was a physics teacher. And every time I ask questions like, Dad, why is the sky blue? I got a scientific answer. Well, there's water vapor in the air. And when the sunlight passes through it, blue's the most reflective color. So the sky appears blue. Nothing about ghosts, spirits, demons, none of that. So she tricked me, believe it or not, on Valentine's Day of 2010.
Yeah.
And she said, I want to do something different for Valentine's because normally we'd go to a hotel, kick
Something
back,
exciting.
have some drinks.
Yes.
And I said, okay, what do you want to do? What did you say?
I want to ghost hunt.
Yeah. I want to go ghost hunting. And I was just like, oh my God. I had two choices. I could take her or have her mad at me until next Valentine's Day. So
of course.
Right. So I didn't want that.
Best Valentine's gift ever.
Well, it changed our lives. It really did. So I found a location here in the Phoenix area, booked it for the weekend and thought, okay, I did my part. I'm done. And then I thought, wait a minute, these people are using equipment. She's got to have equipment. So I went out and I bought, and granted, I didn't spend a lot, but I bought
You're so cheap.
night vision camera, EMF meter, and digital recorder. And I thought, okay. So we went for the weekend. I played along. She was having fun. That was all I cared about. But she was taking pictures. She was running video camera, night vision video camera,
Nice.
running recorders.
Yeah.
So I was playing along. I was telling her, hey, take a picture over there. I was asking questions with her to make her feel like I was participating. And then we spent the weekend there and then came home. I thought, okay, this is over. That stuff will sit in the closet for the next 5 years till we sell it or throw it away. But then she started going through the evidence. And
my first time I've ever captured an apparition, and I'm like, check on this one. And then EVP's, his name came up like Tony Rathman. So I said, check this out, listen. And then sure enough, it's there. And then he's like, okay. And then we investigated that hotel like probably 50
over
times.
50 times, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so amazing. That was the first time, we got amazing stuff.
Yeah, well, I was shocked. I mean, she was calling me over every 3 minutes. What's in this picture? Whose voice is this? You and I were the only one in the basement of this hotel, which we weren't even supposed to be in at 3 a.m. And she's like, whose voice is this? They answered my question or your question. I was dumbfounded. I spent probably the next month or two trying to find reasonable, rational explanation. So finally I said, or let's go back. Maybe there's a vent we didn't know that was there, that voices were coming through. Maybe the strange light anomalies in the photos were coming from, I don't know, a light outside that was coming. Well, we went back again. We didn't find anything to debunk it. In fact, we came home with even more. And that just continued. And now 15 years later, we have not put it down.
Oh, goodness, you're hooked. So that's good. I mean, you're in. And Tony, I can relate. I too was a skeptic, my friend. Oh my goodness, was I ever? I didn't believe in believing. It was terrible.
Right.
It was terrible. And both of you had experiences, multiple experiences, to turn that skepticism, to take that skepticism, push it to the side, create this open mind. And now both of you are hooked, and it's constantly going, and you're constantly searching for those answers, right? Is that, and because that's how I've been explaining the entire process of getting into this field and how it can be, I don't want to use the word addicting. That's a very powerful word, but it can be very, obsessive and motivating at the same time, because you get that satisfaction when you guys, I mean, you've been to this hotel, like you said, multiple times, 50 times. So you're familiar with the area. The spirits that are there have definitely gotten to know you by now.
Oh yeah.
And they can relate to you, and they know you on a personal level.
Right.
I mean, these are all the things we've been trying to teach everybody, and you guys are living proof of that. So thanks for taking time to come on here.
Appreciate you having us on.
Yes,
Thank you
for having us, Todd.
And to come in and to have communication. Let's talk about communication for a moment. And then I want to get a break out of the way and get into some of these video examples that you have about Staticom. But first, I want the audience to kind of get to know what it is and how it was developed. So your skepticism turned into the hookedness of the field to come in, and Staticom comes to mind. Communication breakthroughs. I'm sure you started with traditional electronic voice phenomenon, and then branched on to bigger spirit boxes and so forth, that kind of communication. And to me, Tony, from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing, it's like your genius mind, sir, connected these two together in a way to make it more profound, more pronounced.
Correct. When we first started out, it was, we began to collect every other piece of equipment. Today, we have the biggest closet you've ever seen, jam-packed with about 15 cases of every piece of equipment you can imagine. But my fascination was always with EVP when we first started out. This voice came out of nowhere, answered a question that we asked with timing and relevance and intelligence. That absolutely fascinated me. The second thing that fascinated me more than any other piece of equipment was that I could tell a bucket load of information from the EVP itself. I could tell if it was male or female. I could tell if it was an adult or a child. I could tell their emotional state. Were they happy, angry, scared, upset, mad? Before I even got to what they answered, I could tell if they had an accent or were speaking a different language, or, if they had tonalities that I'm like, okay, that's maybe from the South, or that's an Australian or a European accent. All this information flowed in before I even listened to the answer they gave. But yet all of that followed a response with timing and relevance to the question I asked with no one there. That to me was absolutely fascinating. And that's how we got into really the vocal part of the paranormal, because we found it fascinating. We wanted to see what else we could get, what we could hear. And then that's when we went from EVP into ITC, spirit boxes. We built those for 12 years.
Tony.
There's about 14 of them laying around the house, which today, because of DRV, which is now transitioned to Staticom, I haven't touched one in over 3 years.
Yeah, even the most latest spirit box that he built, the Evox 2.0, we haven't touched it for a long time. And I feel that is the nicest one.
Yeah, but it's as if you built it and it's already evolved.
Correct.
So it's just, and that kind of, that's a great example for EVP as well. It has stopped in a sense. It has slowed down. It has been pushed back because communication's evolving. And if we can all latch on to this way and learn this way, oh my goodness, Tony, the breakthroughs the communication breakthroughs, finally, we could carry on a lot of what these pioneers have tried to do in the past and just couldn't. They just couldn't.
Yeah, you said a very key point there, and how this whole thing evolved. I mean, I have to give credit to our former partners because it evolved. When anyone thought of ITC, at least in America, they think of a spirit box because that's what was shown on TV. That's what everybody knew.
Right.
But our former partners went back and they researched a method called direct radio voice. And really the difference between a spirit box and direct radio voice is that a spirit box will scan up and down the dial at various speeds, depending on what you said of that. And the theory was that spirits would manipulate the fragments of audio that was spit out by radio stations into their own sentences. Whereas direct radio voice would sit on a vacant radio station and not scan. It would just sit there. This was understood that voices were coming through by Friedrich Jurgensen, who then passed that information on to Konstantin Radeve, who then also shared it with a gentleman that most people would probably recognize the name of Marcello Bacci. And Marcello Bacci did direct radio voice for about 35, 40 years. He was tested by scientists. The scientists could not understand or disprove that how he was getting these voices. But our former partners went back, looked this up, and then kind of recreated it in the 21st century. And that's how this whole process, which has now become Staticom 2.0, and now Cherie and I have upgraded it to 3.0, how this all evolved.
And you guys have taken the past, revamped it, used today's technology with it, and got it to work.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to clarify that, because that in itself is so much to going back to electronic voice phenomenon, how it's left there and how today's technology can perhaps help it as well evolve. But this is the next step, guys. And what I want to let everybody know, although some things may be more ITC related, I want you to know that it's all under one umbrella. EVP is under ITC, okay? And I know this gets real confusing out there, and I'm trying to explain it best for those just coming in. We're married, okay? Regardless, the two are it's a married couple, and you know, just like any other married couple, sometimes one has its own space and another has its own space. It's just a different development of it. That's all. ITC is the umbrella for EVP, and why it's so separate. I wish it would be more fit in there where it's at, but it's its own little child, really. It just kind of sits in a corner, guys.
The main difference came in anytime you were talking about anomalous voices, when this stuff literally started to come out and people were catching things on everything from single wire recorders to the old reel-to-reel, to then everything, every voice was considered EVP. Yeah. It wasn't until I think the 70s or 80s that the term ITC came about, or instrumental trance communication, which was literally designed to be a two-way communication versus a record and review with what getting EVPs on a digital recorder is. It was meant to create a two-way communication with spirit.
More real time, yeah.
Right, in real time, correct.
Yeah, and to have that is essential. To have both, I feel, are essential. You can get different communication either way. But, I mean, you got to admit, guys, it's nice to have it now. It really is. It's nice to put a question out there and get some kind of response. I mean, that is related to that question. Because one thing I want to say before we skip the break is the response. And is it more intelligent? Do you guys get residual with this as well? Or is it more of an intelligent type response that's picked up? I'm curious about that.
It's definitely intelligent. Residual, by definition, would not have intelligence, and therefore would have it would be impossible for it to answer a question with timing and relevance and intellectual properties. So is it possible for a residual voice to show up through the method? Yes. The only way we would know that, though, because we're only dealing with audio, would be to realize, hey, that didn't fit anything we asked, or it seemed out of place. So is a residual voice, is it possible that it could show up? Absolutely. But unless we realize that it's out of place, didn't answer the question we asked, it would be difficult for us to identify it that way.
Makes total sense. Makes total sense. And thank you for that. You guys hang tight. We'll be right back with more EVP explorations. Tony and Cherie coming up here. We're talking more about Staticom. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
Recording tip. Never investigate while angry or upset. Emotional baggage can unleash negative energy that could totally mess with your EVP results. Got beef with your partner or team? Resolve it or sit this one out. Trust me, your vibes matter. Negative energy attracts negative entities. Don't let your emotions taint the spirit's airtime.
That's true.
Hey, 24 minutes past the hour. Welcome back, everybody. EVP Explorations Live, right here on the Sacred Spiral Network. Be sure to check them out over there at sacredspiral.com. We're talking with Tony and Cherie Rathman. We're talking about Staticom 3.0, its development, its evolvement, their evolvement in the field. If you guys missed the first part of the show, everything's being recorded for you. So you can find it there on YouTube, Facebook, throughout. Just search EVP Explorations. It's now in podcast form, and you can find that on Apple and all those other fun places you get your podcasts. Now, back to the show. We were talking about EVP, intelligence versus residual on Staticom. And you said it may slip in there. It could slip in there. I mean, in this field, guys, we don't know what the hell could happen, when it could happen. That's the thing with it. And how this works, we have some great videos here introducing it, and I want to get them in the proper order for you too, Tony. What's the best way to start introducing Staticom to the paranormal community here? How do we do it? Is it going to be one of those wha-bam kind of introductions, or is this something that you think is going to fade in there and people are going to start catching on slowly?
It's going to do a little of both. The initial responses that we're getting out of 3.0 has a wow factor. I mean, we've been doing vocal communication for 15 years, and even we, when using it, go, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe we got that answer." So that never goes away. This method, and I clearly use the term method, is because it's not a single device. It is a combination of hardware, software, audio filtration, and it's not easy. It takes an extreme amount of patience, and the whole thing during the commercial that was talking about, what your energy level is, what your emotional state is, that all plays an effect as well. Mm-hmm. But this is already having an impact definitely on the paranormal community, but it's also having an impact on the scientific community. We've done interviews with PhD scientists, and they were just blown away by the fact of the responses that we were getting. In fact, we're going to Halifax, Canada to talk at the Canadian Symposium.
Oh, bless you guys. Preach it out there. My goodness.
There's so much to be learned here, not only from the communication standpoint, from what the spirits have been, information they've been giving us, where those walls go up, where they stop giving information. There's just so many layers and so many levels to unbury, and that's going to be the future.
Oh, this is amazing. What a breakthrough. I mean, what a breakthrough. And to introduce this, I want to get into some of these videos, guys.
Sure.
I want folks to see these to help connect with this. Now, this is something that right now the average person, of course, can't just go out and purchase or download and use. This takes a trained individual. This takes somebody with superior intelligence to operate. Advanced. This is something advanced right at the moment. Now, maybe in the future,
right.
It may be something different, but as of now, it's quite advanced. And the average person can't run.
Yeah, advanced may not be the right word, but it's a complication of some principles of sound and how it works, and knowing the different filters on it and what's going to make it better, what's going to make it worse, and even the software and stuff that's used can be a challenge at times.
Yeah,
but
tricky.
So I wouldn't say it's advanced, but it's not like a spirit box that you purchase, it shows up, you hit the on switch and you're good to go.
Right.
It's
Right.
not
It's a little more savvy. We'll use the word savvy.
yeah.
And you also need to be more techie guy, like a computer guy or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah.
it is.
So it's something technical, but you know, guys, I mean, there's a lot of technical equipment out there. People adapt to it, they get used to it, they learn it. If it's something that's effective, something that's useful, something that's going to work, I think people will take the time to learn how to use it. Absolutely,
Agree. Completely agree.
You know, I mean, it's a breakthrough, for crying out loud. I know I'm dying to learn how to use it. But there's just so much here to get into with this before the end of the show. My goodness, we only have like an hour. Now, starting with the beginning here, it developed, and the thought came to mind, and the delayed response was a thing of the past. This is something that you get an immediate response almost to your question.
Correct.
How clear are the responses? I guess I want to ask. Are they
that was the what we focused on mostly, from what was DRV to 2.0 to now 3.0. But the clarity is unlike anything heard from a spirit box or just about any other device, because and this is super important, in Staticom 2.0 forward, the radio has been removed. It was used in DRV and it did work. But the problem was skepticism, both from the scientific community, the skeptical community, saying, you're claiming you're getting voices, but your method is using a radio, which does exactly that. It takes RF waves in the atmosphere, converts them to either speech or music. You're getting voices and you're claiming they're from the other side. How do you determine reception from deception? And so that was one of the first things at that time with our former partners. We said, the radio's got to go. We got to get away from the radio.
So you did. You just, hell with it. We just pulled out the variable. It's gone.
Well, there were some tests.
Out of sight, out of mind.
There were some tests done on both sides. They did a test basically in a natural Faraday cage. And we ran tests with running water, fans, air conditioners.
He even take the mic to our car and then drive
to see if I could pull
so
voices. And then the last one we did was a sleep machine, which not only did I get the response, but it embedded onto the sleep machine with a 3-second loop, which was in the machine, just like it would on a recorder. And every time I played it through the system, that answer repeated. So I can't use it anymore.
It imprinted into that sleep machine.
Right. But that said to us, radio's not needed. So this would be a great time to play the DRV one, because that was still radio.
Oh, this is amazing stuff. Here it is, folks. How it all started.
Marcello, can you see us?
Yes.
Thank you. Marcello, you started this method. It's working. Can you please try to communicate with us?
Okay. My first now that was pretty incredible. And this was how it all began.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to reiterate that, folks. This is how it all began. That's even using radio waves. That's pretty incredible. Because you can hear the syllables, you can make out the syllables. It's almost as if they're jumping in on that band, guys, and taking advantage of it. And you found a different way other than radio frequency in 2.0, correct?
Correct.
2.0, you still had the radio.
Nope. DRV, direct radio voice, had the radio. When we upgraded the system to 2.0, the radio is now gone and replaced with a white noise generator. A white noise generator produces broadband white noise from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, every sound the human ear can hear, at a spectral frequency of 1, meaning everything's even. There's not frequencies louder or so, everything's equal. That was one of the real upgrades. 2.0 also slowed down live white noise in real time, which we realized that spirits speak so fast that sometimes you won't even catch it. It'll sound like a syllable when it's a full sentence.
Wow.
Staticom also filters, cleans up, and then at the end takes the white noise and lops it off because it's at a spectral frequency of 1, so we know where it's at, wipes it out, leaving nothing but the voice.
That is incredible, sir. That is incredible. To have a program do something such as the complications alone to engineer something like that.
Right.
And to do it effectively. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this. So what I'm going to do is I've got one here for 32 seconds. I'm going to run on 2.0, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just say one thing, though. You
Sure.
won't hear a lot of difference between the one we just heard in the clarity and 2.0, but the one you just heard, that was the clearest we ever received in about a year of DRV.
A year?
So that literally was the absolute best response we ever had. Now we get communication, but that clarity far exceeded anyone else or any of the others.
Yeah.
Now,
So even though it's still in real time, you still have clarity issues, and we're going to have clarity issues like that. So
we did.
Okay, so
Now-
the struggle is real.
Correct.
It didn't happen overnight. It didn't boom, boom. Here we are. It took you a year to get something that clear on the old DRV. That's dedication, guys. Thank you for that. And here's the 2.0, folks. Let us know what you think of the difference.
Can you say Tony? Did you just say Rathman? Yep. So you know who I am. Can I know who you are? Yes, sir. Thank you. Who am I speaking to?
Damn. I mean, you can hear, I could feel that they were talking, and it was they were struggling to speak, and I could hear the elderly in their voice.
Correct.
The
Full
clarity,
tonality, right.
everything you can hear it, he was, you could tell he was struggling. He was getting frustrated trying to speak, but it came out. Both names came out. That was amazing.
First name.
That
and
was
last
amazing.
name,
Yeah,
too.
first and last name. So again,
And how often do you get that, guys?
With the
Normally,
the regular spirit box, you can't.
no, and the reason for that is we believe that there was a misconception in the fact that spirits rearrange audio fragments. In fact, what our research showed us is that the radio broadcast actually cuts the communication.
Mm-hmm.
They need white noise, not radio signal, RF signal.
very interesting. Thank God. Thank goodness. It's about time. Okay. Now, Staticom 3.0, I've got the 4th round of testing here. Now, this one's a couple minutes long, so this is going to be exciting, folks.
Okay,
Go ahead,
hold on.
Tony.
If you're going to jump to 3.0 now, start with the one that says initial.
Initial?
Because I think there was one more too.
Yep. Yes, sir. Got it. I don't want to get these out of order because this is important. This is important. So I've got the 3.0 initial right here, and this is about 60 seconds long, folks. Stay tuned and let us know what you think of the difference with this. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Speaker. Who are you trying to find? You're nervous. What?
Right there.
Yeah.
trying to send us a message?
Roger. Roger meaning yes or Roger meaning Roger?
Are you talking about Roger Martin?
Yes, Martin.
I mean, you guys are really taking the fun out of it. This is incredible.
Let me just explain, because I wasn't expecting the 3.0 yet. But anyway, I was still coding. I was still building, and voices just came through. That was the first time 3.0 produced vocals. So Cherie hears them, comes up and starts asking questions, and they just kept responding.
It's constant communication. Like I ask a question and then it will
An answer would come through, and then we could ask a different question. And like Roger, I wasn't sure if he meant Roger as in like military, yes.
Right. That's what I was thinking at first.
We have a friend named Roger. And then Cherie said, are you talking about Roger Martin? And they're like, yes, Martin.
It actually corrected me in not Martin, it's Martin.
Right. So they actually said it correctly.
See, that's incredible. That's definite intelligence right there. I mean, I think we can all agree with that. And to get something coming through that's not intelligent with this method, it seems like the stronger entities are almost going to come through on this. Maybe some of the, the ones that have trouble can use the white noise bands that you're creating like this, because there's millions of different frequencies in there. Surely they're going to find one to latch onto and come in there. But to get the responses you're getting in the amount of time, it is blowing my tiny mind, guys, because you're simply asking, and you're getting, and it's talking sometimes. I've heard it twice. It's talked with, it's just like Cherie said, it's corrected,
right?
And it's come back. And so, I mean, I'm not used to that. I don't think anybody's used to that.
The other things to know is that we believe that the white noise is used to, for a physics principle called stochastic resonance. And what that does is that when the spirits speak, they'll overlap a couple or a handful of those frequencies within the broadband white noise, which then elevates their voice up, but not the level of the white noise. So it's kind of like the difference between a single bee flying a foot from your head or the whole hive. That whole hive is resonating at the same frequency, but it elevates that sound, which then allows us to cut the broadband white noise out, leaving just that elevated, clear voice.
Incredible. And I gotta ask, how long did it take you to develop that you had to take that out? I mean, this had to have taken quite a while because to develop, and you're experimenting with the white noise. There's different ways to dissect it and so forth. And then just to remove it, it's almost as if they latch on to one of those frequencies and you take away all the frequencies except the ones they needed to come through. Is that how I'm?
Yeah. I mean, essentially that is absolutely
essentially
correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's just incredible how they come through so quickly.
Yeah.
We agree.
And it's almost as if the white noise attracts them. Maybe because I've experimented with it in the past, of course, with EVP recording, and have gotten great results with it. I never used it all the time, but certain situations I did. But to see that white noise, perhaps other noises as well, pink and so forth, maybe those are the catalysts that we need to connect. I mean, that's what I'm learning here now, that it is plain as the nose on my face that type of noise is what spirit needs to connect. So I think just you guys are on track that you're developing something that is just off
Right.
the chain.
If you look at even like direct voice phenomena, like if you're in a haunted location and entity says something and people actually hear it with their own ears,
Which is rare, sure.
correct. They are using natural white noise in the environment to make that happen. And if they can make it happen to the point where it's loud enough to pick up with the human senses or the human hearing, you know they can definitely do it in a controlled environment where we make optimal conditions for them to use the white noise.
Yes. Well said, well explained. And there's a lot of people just joining us here. Hey, Greg, how you doing, buddy? There's some people out there that are loving what they're hearing. Okay, they're blown away by what they're hearing with Staticom, and I'm blown away by it. And it has my mind going a million miles an hour, guys. I'll tell you, it does. Because I'm so used to having things being delayed, having to take the time to have them delayed for clarity purposes, for profound clarity in the evidence. But yet it's taken me years to even develop a small sentence or a fragment, anything that made sense. It's always been go, leave,
right,
come back, your basics.
Yeah.
To where Staticom, it's like algebra compared to general math here. And I mean, I hate saying that because EVP is a passion of mine, but this is something that is next level. This is what's going to help not only us understand that there is life after death, but I think it's going to help further all research.
Right.
It's going to help just springboard it. Because it's so needed. This is so needed.
It has been on so many levels, but for many, many years.
It also helps with the family also that who's grieving, wanted to reach out to their loved ones.
Yeah, to be able to get some sort of indication. We had it happen. We did a live event in Sedona, and a woman had her son pass away a year or so prior. And it was so amazing because she said, well, him and I had a code phrase when he was in hospice before he passed away. She said, I would love to see if I can get him to say it. And sure enough, he came right through, said the phrase, and she just cried and cried. But yeah, everyone heard it. It was amazing.
See the closure right there, the closure itself, because we're all doing this for the same reason. We want to make sure or find out if there's life after death. Okay. And when someone does pass suddenly and there's no knowing of, were they in pain? Are they okay? Where did they go? This gives them that kind of closure. This is something that is real time, that it's a voice that comes through that they can recognize probably as well. I'm speechless with this stuff. This is just incredible.
He even connected to his grandfather too, and to my mother, who also passed away like three years ago, and we able to reach out to them.
Yeah, I recorded my grandfather, and when I said who I was, I said, Grandpa, this is your grandson. I mean, I was pretty young when he passed away, but I took the recording and I sent it to my mother. Didn't say a word, just sent it. And she called me 2 or 3 minutes later. She goes, that is your grandfather? How did you do that?
Wow.
So I said, well, it's an upgrade. And I said, so did he, because what did he say? Howdy, Tony? Howdy, Tony, which is kind of a dated phrase. And so I said to my mom, I said, did he use that phrase? And she's like, that's how he answered anybody. Howdy.
So you had the consistency there to, to prove it was him as well. So, I mean, plus she recognized his voice immediately. That's just incredible to have software. I know, especially with artificial intelligence out these days and the way it compiles things and does things for people. But this is something you developed and I want to reiterate this again for those of you just joining us, from past pioneers as well picked this up where something was sitting there cold. You picked it up, put a little fire under it, and then bam, here it is. It's using today's technology for something that worked in the past to amplify it.
Yeah.
And the results are just bone chilling, unbelievable.
And
It's
as
really
far
cool.
as technology goes, there's no word banks, there's no AI. Literally, the technology is just a computer with filtration. That's all it is. There's nothing in there that creates words or has words stored or word bank. Nothing.
It's a closed
Okay,
system.
so so let's get that straight. Let's get this straight. It's not like an Ovilus. It's not like anything like that has a dictionary. There's no dictionary in this bad boy.
Nope.
Nothing like that.
Nope.
No. So that folks takes away from any suggestion, anything like that. This is strictly real time communication using the band of white noise.
Correct. That's all.
That's plain and simple. At the end of the day, that's what it is when you dissect it, basically. And it's a program designed to filter this noise.
Correct.
And then you get the end result of what we're hearing. That just, geez. Damn, Tony. That's amazing. You two should be extremely proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Because to figure that out after all this time, after all these years, and people have known for years that there's something behind white noise and the different noises, the background noises, the generators. We've all tried them.
Yeah.
You've succeeded. Awesome job. Awesome job.
Mostly him. He's the one. He's very intelligent.
Well, we've had some tough nights when she's like, "You ever gonna put that thing down?" Because I did. For the past 4 years, I don't ever come home and not run it. I'm always looking to upgrade it, get better clarity.
Every night experiments. I'm like, okay, so what now?
She's like, "Are we ever gonna go out?" I'm like, "Okay."
But that's where the fun begins, though. That's where it's interesting. And I can see, if I had something like that, guys, I would be talking to it constantly, almost like. And the questions you ask, I want to ask this too before we play some more of these. The questions you ask, do they give any responses like what it's like over there, or have you crossed that barrier yet? Have they described anything?
Yeah, in fact, one of the major questions that I wanted to know, and maybe we can go back, and if you have this one, I think I sent it. It was from 2.0, and we asked a lot of research questions, wanting to know, how do you do this? What's this like? Questions were asked, I think it was by our former partners, but they said, what's life like on the other side? And the answer came back, complicated. And we asked my grandfather what's it's like, and he said wonderful, or I can't remember what the exact. But one of the research questions I wanted to know is that when we ask questions, I'm not even in front of a mic. There's no mics. I'm speaking in my normal tone of voice, which produces sound waves into the atmosphere, which of course are limited until they dissipate. And then another human has ears with follicles that vibrate, sends that vibrations to a liquid center of the ear, which then vibrates to the brain, and the brain understands it as speech or interprets it as speech. But if a spirit doesn't have a human body anymore, and I'm not transmitting my voice into some energy, frequency, or vibration that they can pick up, how do they hear me speak? And I think you have that clip. It's the other 2.0 one, and it's called
Energy of the Mind.
Energy of the Mind.
Got it. All right, we'll roll this. Thanks for that explanation. Great explanation. Here we go, folks.
How do you hear me speak?
Oh, I want to play that again.
Yeah.
Don't mind. Listen to the end, folks. Listen to the end, especially.
How do you hear me speak?
So now sorry.
No, that blows my mind. Energy of the mind. That's the thing. He's trying to tell us
Right.
what we're not focusing on, what we should focus on.
Well, even during EVP work, which we did for years, we would realize that sometimes the answer would show up on the recorder before we even finished asking the question. This explains it. It also supports the theory that the survival theory, which says that consciousness would survive death. So, it's energy of the mind. Now, is that the energy like psychics use, or is it consciousness? Which
Consciousness.
When in early dissertations like Descartes' mind-body dualism, the word is used is mind, but it's not the brain. When they use mind, it's consciousness, and that's where it can get confusing. But
the soul.
We believe consciousness comes from universal consciousness, which we're all a part of. When we're in human form, we're dissociated from that, but we're still connected. So my thoughts are still connected to universal. So like I'll ask questions and I'll say, what color's my shirt? Well, they don't have eyes either. Can they see us? Well, even Bocce said he could see us, but I'll say, what color's my shirt? And they'll tell me. So that information goes back and forth. And then when we pass away, we return and become part of. But then that's now an understanding of we had to really rethink what reality is and how we believe it functions, because with the evidence coming in, it kind of restructured how we believe life and the afterlife and everything in it now functions.
Completely have to rethink everything.
Correct.
And that's okay, because we needed this kind of change, guys. We really need this kind of change. I think this is going to shake the community up something awful. And if it doesn't, damn it, it should. Because we have been waiting for something like this type of communication for decades, for absolute decades. And here it is.
Even Thomas Edison wanted to create a phone to the dead. Tesla, spirit phone. Yeah. The idea is
they've all had their hands in this.
Correct.
And to finally come up with something that's so complicated yet simple, that's why I think it's going to work. That's why I think it's going to stick. I really do. And I'm not saying that this is going to completely wipe out electronic voice phenomenon, that aspect of it. That's a craft in itself.
It is.
This is immediate. This is now. This is the future of spirit communication, I feel. And what I want to do is, and like my Cherie saying here, it's profound. That's an excellent word for it. The entire operation is, and what you two have done is profound. And to come out with something like this at this time when this community is in such a need of some kind of change, because it's in an uproar, guys. It really is. The community is back and forth. I've said many times that, it's that what we do isn't about followers and film crews. It's about life after death. And we need to kind of just shake a few, get them back into our world. And this is going to grab them and bring them back into the world. If not, they shouldn't be in this world. They need to find a different world, because what they're into is different than this. This is some serious communication. This stuff can change people's lives. It can change society and what it thinks of the paranormal. It can change so many things. And you two are braver than I to go against something like this, because it is going to create such a change, such a shuffle, a good shuffle.
It changed our lives.
It did.
When we started with this.
It did. It changed ours. It changed our thinking. It's changed other people who's heard it, got questions answered. Just as real quick, we had a gentleman we were doing live sessions on 2.0. We haven't done any yet on 3.0 because we're still making upgrades. But one of the things you'll notice as we go through the 3.0 clips is we're not asking any research questions or in-depth questions because, like I said, this thing is weeks old. And, the questions are easy, knowing that if we got the answer, we're going to hear it and how long we can push the communication. But we had a gentleman come up and he said, "Can I ask a question?" We said, "Absolutely, go ahead." Well, he asked the question in his Native American language. So we weren't even sure what he asked, but we just sat back and we waited. And there were a bunch of sounds and stuff coming through. But then I saw his face, I saw his jaw drop. And I said, "Did you get your answer?" He said, "Not only did I get my answer, but I got it in my Native American language."
Wow. Damn. That is just incredible. That is incredible. And that is enough to convince me. I mean, I'm sure it's enough to convince everybody else that this communication is real. This communication is genuine. It's raw. It is what it is. And there's no way to explain something. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, it's radio," because there's none involved anymore. It's evolved.
Right.
You can't say, "Oh, there's something in the white noise." You can't do that because it would disrupt the entire mechanism. It would disrupt the entire sound.
Right. And the mechanism
can't feel it.
Right. And the mechanism has no ability to pick up any radio wave. It's a closed circuit system. And the only other real challenge to ITC was the response that you were picking up warbles and artifacts of sound, and you were thinking you were hearing something that's truly not there. That's not the case with the communication coming through. You can't claim these to be pareidolia or warbles and artifacts of sound. This is pure speech. We had answers analyzed by audio engineers, and they were blown away, saying that it matches the exact tonality, speech patterns, consonants, vowels, diphthongs used in human speech.
Unbelievable. I mean, hands down, it's excellent. It's an excellent communication tool. It's proven. It's proven to work. Right. It has been analyzed by professionals it speaks for itself. The whole thing speaks for itself. And I want to take our final break here of the show. And when we come back, if you don't mind, I want to play the fourth round of testing. I don't think we played that one yet. The 3.0 fourth round of testing. I want to play that one. So if you guys could hang tight, more is on the way. EVP explorations. We're talking with Cherie and Tony Rathman, Staticom 3.0. More coming up. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial.
Introducing The Haunted Voice by Todd Bates, a powerful autobiography that takes you on an unforgettable journey through life's darkest struggles and most hopeful triumphs. From working as a corrections officer to finding himself behind bars, Todd's story dives deep into the battle against alcoholism and addiction, revealing the raw, unfiltered truths of hitting rock bottom. But this is not just a story of despair. It's a story of redemption, recovery, and hope. As a seasoned paranormal investigator and EVP specialist, Todd also opens the door to his chilling experiences with the supernatural, weaving together tales of the paranormal with deeply personal revelations. The Haunted Voice isn't just a book, it's a lifeline for those seeking recovery, a guide for those facing their own demons, and a treasure for paranormal enthusiasts. Available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Apple Books, The Haunted Voice makes the perfect gift for anyone looking for inspiration, guidance, or simply an incredible story. Order your copy today and discover the voice that refuses to be silenced.
Hey, top of the hour. Welcome back, folks. Those of you just joining us, you're watching EVP Explorations on the Sacred Spiral Network. I'm your host, Todd Bates. Our guests this evening are Staticom 3.0's finest, Cherie and Tony Rathman. They're here, and we have been talking about all things spirit communication all night. If you missed the first part of the show, be sure and check it out on all the just Google EVP Explorations or go to evpexplorations.com, and you'll get bring you right up to speed on the show and what you missed. And we've got a lot of comments about you guys. People are blown away by what they've seen. They are completely and totally impressed. They are in support of you two.
Thank you.
Keep up the awesome work. Don't stop, no matter what you come across. My goodness, don't stop. And if you need somebody behind you to push, let me know. I'll push.
All right.
This stuff has to get out there, guys. It has to get out there. And we were going to play a video, the Staticom 3.0, the 4th round of testing. Now, kind of prep this a little bit and what folks can expect whenever they see this here.
Sure. So this was the real and biggest difference between 2.0 and 3.0. 3.0, we managed to get all the voices clear. We managed to keep it clear. We managed the communication
Longer
to continue until we literally stopped talking. So like I said, you're not going to hear a lot of research questions. People always ask us, did you ask how the pyramids were built? Did Atlantis exist?
Powerball number.
You can ask questions for the next 20 years, which is great.
Right.
You know, we're always looking for answers about what's in the afterlife, what we can expect, how they view themselves, what their life is like. And it really comes down to what they'll share. But the clip you're about to play was, again, the 3rd night of it being operational. And I'm like, let's just see what it can do. And this is what you're about to hear.
Here we go, folks. If you have any questions or comments, put them there in the comment section. Check this out.
Time what?
I can hear you when you whisper, you know that, right? Spirits, if you're not familiar with this device is called Staticom. If you heard me say Staticom. That's better.
Now, can you say Staticom for me, please?
Alright, Spirits, if you don't want to say Staticom, let's play another game. What am I holding in my hand? Glasses, thank you. Thank you very much. How about pineapple? Can you say pineapple? Oh, perfect, thank you. How come you can't say Staticom like that?
It's one word.
It's one word, Staticom. Have you not been able to talk to humans before? If you can hear me, spirits, say elephant.
Do you know Tony?
It's me. If we use this device to help cold cases, will you answer the question? Yeah, sure. You bet. Thank you.
That will help.
That'll help a lot.
Let me just pick my jaw up. Look, that clip just answers so many questions for me. They can see. That proved to me that they can see us in this reality. They saw you holding your glasses. You know, this isn't something you just make up, folks. This isn't something you just throw into a computer system and hit play.
Right.
This is coming from the unknown, an unknown area I have no idea where it's coming from, but it's coming through, and it's coming through clear, and it's coming through quickly. This is amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Now, with the questions you're asking, it's almost, to me, it's almost as if they're learning. Like, this is the first time they've had this kind of real-time communication with us in our realm. It seems like a lot of them are struggling, but they're getting it, and they're correcting each other. They're working as a team on it. It's almost as if they're standing in line. Hey, it's my turn. You know, it's a way to come through. This is breathtaking stuff, guys.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Tony.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, the other real cool thing about it is that if we flip it on, we can listen to them talk. We don't even have to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second we do, they're like, oh, like we eavesdropped. It's literally a spiritual eavesdrop machine that we can flip it on and just listen to what they're talking about before we even ask anything.
And there's one session, we did one session, and we didn't ask a question. We just tried to listen to them because he's still trying to tune it in. And the spirits, they're fighting each other, and it's so funny, and it's so censored because something about the SEX. And the spirit says, I am allergic to SEX.
You're like, what?
Yeah. And that's cool that they involve that, you know. I mean, it's something that we can all relate to as well. But it's just so amazing how they communicate with you guys, and they're getting to know you guys and what you're doing.
I think the trust is there, the spirits,
Right.
and, you know, us. I think that's the reason why
We get the results.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that took 15 years to get them to trust. But even when Marcello Bacci was using DRV and they pulling his radio tubes one by one, he was still getting voices. The only thing they could remove to make his radio not produce the voices was him. So there is definitely connection between the user and the method or the instrument being used.
Okay, so there has to be that connection. And, you know, I guess the question of the day to get people to think a little bit is what connects us? Is it what animates us? Is it our soul that connects us with that other side, with that realm? Is that what they can relate to? Because it's definitely not the human flesh. It can't be.
It's not.
It has to be something within that is vibrating at a frequency they can relate to or they can communicate with.
Well,
you guys have tapped right into that.
That to me would be consciousness. Our consciousness, individual as human, connected to universal consciousness. And then it's based on intention, trust, and for them to, you can't hide anything from them. They're going to know what your intentions are or what you're doing it for. And if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, they're going to stay quiet. You won't even know they're there.
That makes so much sense. And, you know, to put that maybe in a different perspective as well, the consciousness that you speak of, when we go to sleep at night, we don't really know where we go, if we go anywhere, if we leave the body while we're asleep. Some people think we travel to the astral plane. People think we make a pit stop in heaven for a while and come back in our body. That's why it takes us a while to wake up, to realign. It could be connected, similar to that. Something as simple as that kind of consciousness, Tony.
That is an excellent point. And if we know the human body runs on food, and if we eat, the body takes those nutrients and energy, breaks it down, and the body runs on it. But if you were tired and you just ate a big meal, you should be fully charged up again. You shouldn't be sleepy, which means there's another source that needs to be recharged from that sleep, and it's not the human body.
Oh yeah. Great way to explain that. And that makes sense. That makes complete sense. Because this can get, oh boy, if you think about it, this can take you down a huge rabbit hole. It really can, if you let it. But the way you guys are explaining it, the way it is a lot more simple than what we feel it is.
Right.
And it's a natural connection using technology that we have created as human beings to talk to the other side, I think is phenomenal. But again, that's our consciousness. I think, probably in your sleep, Tony, these whatever came to you probably, and you just unloaded.
But I mean, when you were talking about, the natural, I mean, what we call the paranormal, technically to us is just normal. We just
pretty
haven't
normal.
understood it enough yet to be able to figure it out. And Staticom's definitely helping go down that path. But, we always say we want to show that the paranormal is just normal.
Well, you've convinced me, and I'm as stubborn as they come, guys. I really am. I promise you. I try to pick these things apart because, like you, I was skeptic as well. But this, it makes too much sense to debunk.
Right.
It proves itself. You've eliminated the variables that would cause it to have any kind of controversy. Because again, I reiterate, you cannot place something into white noise and have it play. It will disrupt the entire. No.
Right.
So that eliminates that. This is for real, in my opinion.
It is.
This is something that, with further development, is only going to become more clear, and we're probably going to get much more information. And I see this is and I'm as sensitive as a brick. But I'll put this out there. I see within the next 5 years, you guys are going to have a disclosure of your own, because this is the breakthrough that this community needed. You guys have brought it forth. You have gone back in time and gathered information and used today's technology to make it happen. And I only wish those pioneers were alive to see this. Yeah. They would be so proud that not only their work and your work combined as one, to see that kind of unity, but that it just worked to begin with.
We have heard, believe it or not, from a few of them expressing the gratitude for what's being worked on.
Oh, I would flip. You mean I'm gonna flip out. You've okay. Like we're talking people like Edison, Jurgensen. These guys came through to you guys.
Radava.
Is it Radava or Radava?
Radava.
Yeah, it's whatever accent you can muster.
But
that is so cool.
I think one of your friends has that.
Lisa sent some clips too that you can hear this man just talk full sentences. It's unbelievable. What that research we're still working on. So that hasn't come out.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, and that's going to be for another show when you guys come on, because you're definitely coming back.
The one thing I want to say, and we appreciate everybody's backing and appreciating what we've done. Thank you for that. But the two things I want to say is that we don't have all the answers. We've tried to put together a thought process of how we believe it's working based on the evidence that we've been getting. But could we be wrong? We could. And if there's people that think that we are wrong, we do want to hear it. We would like to hear their side and what they think may be occurring. Because if we're wrong, we want to know it. I mean, this is all about the research, not about what's coming through as much as is it right? Are we understanding it correctly? And then the other thing I just want to say is that is unbelievable and fantastic as it is to sit down and be able to turn on a method and speak to consciousness that is no longer embodied. The one thing we do want to say is that say it to the people here and now, why they're here. I love you. I miss you. I enjoy your company. Say it while you're here, because as great as it is to turn on a machine and connect, it's so much better to do it face to face.
Well said. And it is. It's not the same. It's just not the same. But at the end of the day, for those that don't do that often, and in the end, that closure, that could make or break them.
It can.
And it's bittersweet. The whole thing is. And what they're asking here, guys, Stanley, he's wanting to know if you'll come back and do a live session with us with Staticom 3.0. I would be honored if you two would do that. I know that would make everybody happy.
It will be possible shortly. We used to be able to do it with 2.0. We've revamped the system so severely. And in fact, 5 days ago, I said to her, I want this more portable. And we just literally gutted this thing and redid, and it's been a nonstop. But that will be possible. That absolutely will be possible.
Oh, good. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because you two you're genuine people. You're genuine people. You're people like we are out there in the thick of it, trying to get through, trying to get some answers. You figured out a way and you're evolving it. You're not letting it get you down. You're not letting your relationship suffer like a lot of other people would in this case.
She may disagree with that.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I feel you, Cherie. I feel you. My Cherie's the same way. God love her. God love her. It's we get into our work.
Yeah.
And I'll hopefully I can speak for Tony when I say this a little bit, but he does mean well when he's away. It's one of those things, and us guys were wired different. It's a DNA thing. We have to find some kind of answer to connect with the madness of us being so enthralled in our work. We have to find, and that has to make sense. Then it clicks for me anyway. And Tony may be the same way.
I definitely
once we find that answer, we can calm down for a second. So it just takes a second.
I couldn't ask for better, though. She has been so supportive. I mean, 15 years of this, and then anytime she does complain, I say, "Hey, you made me start doing this. It's your fault."
And she's sitting right there next to you.
Yeah,
right there next to you.
Right.
No, you can't.
I can't because I dragged him. But I'm so proud of him because he built the spirit box for 14 years, 12 spirit boxes.
14.
Never
12 years, 14
yeah,
years.
never sold or sell anything.
No, I never
it's
sold any.
purely research, and I see his dedication, and I'm like, okay, I will support you with that, and which is,
I appreciate that. I couldn't do it without her. I literally couldn't.
No.
He can't put the spirit box together because his hands is so big, and he uses me because I have a small.
Can you put that in that tiny little?
Can you stutter this?
Oh, that's so familiar. It's like me with Cherie. Hey, I need your nails. I need your little fingers. Right. And that's true. I mean, you guys support each other through this.
It's nice,
and it can be stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can be very stressful. Yet you guys support each other because you know the end result. You have experienced the end result. You know what this can do to this community, to the world. How it can change communication. It can make the paranormal, like you said, normal. That's simple because it's all natural elements. You got a little software thrown in there to clean it up. You got to have something.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing, guys. Beautiful thing.
So
thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come on here. And I can't wait till you come on here again. And when it gets developed and you want to do a live session, my goodness, you scream at me loud.
Question too.
Yeah, you'll be able to ask. You'll get your own answer. It's wild.
I would be honored. I'm looking forward to it. I know the audience is. You guys are amazing. Thank you for what you're doing with the community. Thank you so much. This is the change we needed. You guys brought it. You brought it with class too, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Todd. We appreciate you having us on to explain this, and hopefully your audience enjoyed it as much as we did talking about it. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Can't wait to have you back. You guys take care. All right. And there they were, Tony and Cherie Rathman, folks. My goodness, Staticom 3.0. Be sure. All you have to do is search that, Google it. I did, and there's all kinds of great information on it. So broaden your horizons. Open them up a little bit. Yes, we discuss electronic voice phenomenon, and we always will on this show because it's a craft in itself, and it's something I've grown to love. I enjoy my delayed conversations. They have different messages, they have different uses, but this Staticom, like I've said from the beginning, it is taking off in strides. It is going to be the breakthrough we're looking for, and it may even help standard electronic voice phenomenon. Perhaps we can learn to use white noise differently with electronic voice phenomenon in the background with our EVP recordings. This changes everything, folks. So I'm definitely curious about your comments, your questions. If you have any questions for Tony or Cherie, you can send those to me directly, Todd Bates at evpexploration.com, or contact us through the website, evpexplorations.com. Be sure and check it out. New website, cool stuff over there, all free of charge for you fine folks. You just have to register, and that takes 2 seconds. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter over there. That thing comes out monthly. It has all kinds of EVP tips, tricks, techniques, lessons. All of that's included in the newsletter, as well as upcoming shows. We send those out once a week for you. That way you know what's coming up. Now, coming up next week, we're going to be discussing analysis. We're going to do some live analysis on the air here for you. We're going to be doing that. Going to play a preparing for analysis as well. We're going to touch on that again and play a video from Cherie and I going out there to Baker Cemetery. It's a lot of fun. You guys may like it. We had a lot of fun out there getting blowing the rust off a little bit. But we got that coming up. Also coming up, some future shows. We have got Lisa Crick, Nicole Tito. They are getting scheduled here as we speak. We're going to be having them on to talk about EVP and the infamous Estes method. We're going to be discussing that with them. Nicole Strickland's going to be coming on here soon. We're going to be talking some EVP ethics. Very important stuff that we have to learn out there in the field. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you can put all those to me at the website, evpexplorations.com, or put them in the comments here, and I'll get those addressed as soon as I can. So you guys have a phenomenal weekend. Thank you again for all the beautiful birthday wishes. My goodness, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't thank you enough for those. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. And without further ado, we're going to close this out. You guys have a fantastic weekend. If you're out there researching, please stay safe, bring common sense, and most of all, respect those that are there. Respect everybody all around. Respect is key. So from all of us here at Sacred Spiral Network and EVP Explorations, have a great weekend. Bye-bye, folks.